When you stop fearing solitude and master your own mind, you become the force the world can no longer control. Most people do not understand this, my friend. They run from silence as if it were a disease. They fill every moment with noise, with talk, with movement, because silence makes them uneasy. They cannot stand to be alone with their own thoughts. They fear what they might hear in that stillness, the voice of truth. Yet that voice, that quiet whisper deep inside, is the beginning of strength. You see, solitude is not emptiness. It is a mirror. It reflects everything that you truly are, not what the world says you are, not what your friends believe, not what you pretend to be when the lights are on. When you are alone, all of that fades away. What remains is your essence, your weaknesses, your doubts, your potential. And if you have the courage to look, you can rebuild yourself from that raw material. Many people misunderstand this. They think power is built by surrounding themselves with others, with applause, with validation, with recognition. But that kind of power is fragile. The moment the crowd disappears, they collapse. Their confidence was borrowed. Their strength was not real. The true warrior does not rely on the echo of others. He relies on the sound of his own heartbeat. When I was younger, I also feared silence. I was restless, always moving, always talking, always training, always seeking something outside myself. But one day I realized that no matter where I went, I carried the same restlessness with me. It was not the world that was noisy. It was my mind. So I began to study that noise. I began to sit in the quiet and listen to what it was saying. And, my friend, I discovered that the mind can be your greatest enemy, or it can be your greatest ally. In solitude, I learned to see the difference between the voice of fear and the voice of intuition. Fear shouts, but intuition whispers. Fear says, stay safe, stay small. Intuition says, grow. Fear wants comfort. Intuition demands evolution. When you are surrounded by people, it is hard to hear that inner whisper. But when you are alone, when all the distractions fade, that whisper becomes clear and it will guide you. The world today teaches dependence. People want constant feedback. They need someone to tell them who they are, whether they are doing well, whether they are loved. They are like leaves blown by the wind, changing direction with every opinion. But I tell you, the moment you stop seeking approval is the moment you become free. Approval is a chain, my friend. When you live for it, you give away your power. You let others decide your worth. And how can a man be strong when his value is in someone else's hands? Real strength begins when you say, I will walk my path, even if I walk it alone. When you can stand in solitude, you are unshakable. Because then, whether people praise you or criticize you, it makes no difference. You know who you are. Their words no longer define you. Your actions do. I have spent many hours training in solitude, not for others to see, not for applause, but because I needed to understand myself. There were nights in Hong Kong when I trained long after everyone had gone home. The room was empty, except for my breath, the sound of my movement cutting through the still air. At first, it felt lonely, but over time, I began to love that stillness. I could feel every motion, every mistake, every improvement. The silence became my companion. It was honest. It never lied. It told me when I was weak, and it told me when I was growing stronger. When I came to America, I felt solitude again in a different way. I was a stranger in a land that did not yet understand me. Many doubted me. They said my way of thinking, my way of teaching was wrong. But those moments of rejection taught me something important. If you know your direction, you must keep walking even when no one walks beside you. The crowd will join later. The truth always wins in time. But if you depend on the crowd before you act, you will never move at all. Solitude became my test and my teacher. It stripped away my illusions. It showed me what I truly believed and what I was merely repeating. It forced me to see that strength cannot be borrowed. It must be built. The weight of the world presses on every man's shoulders, but those who learn to carry it alone discover that they can carry anything. You see, my friend, solitude is not a punishment. It is preparation. The world may misunderstand you. Your friends may leave. People may mock your path. But all of this is a blessing because it pushes you inward, where the real journey begins. In the quiet, you meet your fears face to face. And once you conquer them, nothing outside can conquer you again. In martial arts, I found that the fight is never truly against another person. The real fight is always within, between your discipline and your weakness, between your clarity and your doubt. When you punch, when you kick, when you move, it is not the opponent you are defeating. It is your own hesitation. That is why solitude is so important. It removes every distraction so that you can face your hesitation nakedly. Only then can you destroy it. When I trained alone, I studied the rhythm of my own mind. I noticed how it wanted to give up when no one was watching. I noticed how it sought excuses. I'm tired. It's enough for today. But I also noticed something else. When I refused to listen to those excuses, when I continued anyway, a new strength appeared. It was quiet, calm, unshakable. That strength did not depend on motivation or praise. It came from self-respect. This, my friend, is what solitude gives you. Self-respect. When you keep your promises to yourself, when you train, study, and grow, even when no one will ever know, you begin to trust yourself, and that trust becomes power. The man who keeps his own word needs no validation, for he walks with integrity. Think of it like this. When a tree grows in a forest where no one sees it, does it still grow strong? Of course. Because its strength does not depend on being seen. It depends on the depth of its roots. Solitude helps you grow those roots, deep, invisible, unshakable. Then, when the storm comes, you will not fall. People ask me, Bruce, how do I become strong? And I tell them, go where the noise cannot follow you. Go where you can hear your own breath. Train there. Because it is in those silent hours when no one claps for you that you forge the power others will later admire. When you begin to love your own company, when you are at peace with your thoughts, then no rejection can wound you, no insult can shake you, no loss can destroy you. You become complete within yourself. You are no longer a seeker, you are a creator. So do not fear solitude. Welcome it. Sit in it. Study yourself. The journey is not to escape loneliness, but to transform it, to turn it into understanding, into focus, into discipline. Then, what once felt like isolation becomes independence. And from independence rises true power. Solitude, my friend, is not the absence of love. It is the beginning of it. Because only when you know yourself can you truly give yourself to others. Only when you are whole can you share without fear. When you are not dependent, you can connect freely. That is the paradox. When you are strong alone, you are finally capable of real relationships. The world will not tell you this truth because a strong, independent mind cannot be controlled. But that is exactly why you must learn it. You must become the force that cannot be manipulated, the person who does not crumble when left alone. You must become whole within. The journey begins in solitude. There, you face your shadows, you meet your truth, and you learn that peace is not found in others. It is built within yourself. And once you find that peace, once you know who you are in the dark, then you can walk through any storm with calmness, because nothing outside can touch the strength you have built inside. So, my friend, let the world fall silent. Let the noise fade away. Sit with yourself until the discomfort turns into clarity. When that happens, you will feel something powerful, a quiet fire, steady and enduring. That fire is you. Protect it, feed it, live by it. And remember, the greatest power is built when no one is watching. My friend, most people think silence is empty. They believe that when the talking stops, when the laughter fades, when the music dies, there is nothing left. But I tell you, silence is not empty. Silence is full of answers. It is the space where life speaks, where truth whispers, where the soul breathes. The problem is not that silence has nothing to say. The problem is that most people never stop long enough to listen. You see, we live in a world that worships noise. People fill their days with chatter, with movement, with endless distraction. They cannot be still because stillness exposes them. When the world quiets down, their own mind begins to speak, and they don't like what it says. It tells them that they are lost, undisciplined, afraid. So they drown that voice in entertainment, in gossip, in comfort. But my friend, if you wish to master yourself, you must learn to sit with that voice, to listen to it, to understand it, and then to rise above it. When I was younger, I too feared that silence. After I moved to America, there were nights when I felt completely alone. No family, no old friends, no familiar faces. The quiet of those nights pressed against me like a weight. I felt the temptation to run from it, to seek company, to distract myself. But something inside me said, stay. And so I did. I sat with my loneliness. I watched it. I studied it. And slowly I realized that loneliness is not a curse. It is a teacher. It shows you what you are made of when the world disappears. When I sat in that silence, I began to see the patterns of my mind, the way it leapt from thought to thought, the way it replayed fears and doubts like a broken record. I began to notice how undisciplined it was. And I understood that if I could not control my own mind, I could control nothing. That night, I made a decision. I would train my mind the way I trained my body, with discipline, with patience, with purpose. You see, my friend, the mind is like water. When it is still, it reflects truth. When it is disturbed, it distorts everything. If you throw a stone into a calm pond, the ripples change the reflection. What was once clear becomes fragmented. That is what happens when you let anger, fear, or jealousy control you. You no longer see reality. You see only your emotion. The mind must be calm, adaptable, alive, like water flowing effortlessly through the contours of life. When I say be like water, I do not mean be passive. Water is not weak. It is the most powerful substance in nature because it never resists. It adjusts, it adapts, it flows around obstacles, but it always finds its way through. If you dam it, it gathers strength. If you block it, it finds another path. This is how the mind must be: free, formless, fluid, unstoppable. A rigid mind breaks easily. A flexible mind endures all. Look at those who cling to their opinions, who refuse to learn, who cannot adapt. They suffer the moment life changes. But those who flow, those who observe and adjust, they thrive in every situation. When I trained in combat, I never went into a fight with a fixed plan. I moved with my opponent, read his rhythm, flowed with his energy. To fight with emotion is to lose before you begin. A punch thrown in anger is slower, heavier, less accurate. But when the mind is clear, every movement becomes effortless, precise, alive. This is the essence of mastery, clarity in the midst of chaos. My friend, understand this. Your greatest battle is not with others. It is with your own thoughts. The enemy is not out there. It lives inside. It is the voice that tells you to quit, the doubt that makes you hesitate, the fear that paralyzes you. You must train yourself to see these not as enemies, but as signals. They are reminders that there is still work to do. When fear appears, don't run. Study it. Ask it why it has come. When anger arises, don't explode. Observe it. See what wound it is protecting. When doubt whispers, don't believe it. Challenge it. Every emotion is energy. When you master that energy, you turn weakness into power. I remember once during training, I injured my back severely. The doctors told me I might never move the same way again. For months, I could not kick, could not train, could not even walk properly. I was trapped not by the pain, but by my thoughts. I felt useless, frustrated, angry. But one day, I caught myself. I realized that I had been fighting reality. I was resisting what was. And resistance, my friend, only multiplies suffering. So I stopped resisting. I accepted my condition. I said to myself, all right, this is where I am. Now what can I do? And slowly I began to train my mind. If my body could not move, my mind would move. I read, I studied, I meditated. I visualized every kick, every motion, every fight. I trained without moving. And when my body healed, I was sharper than before because my mind had grown beyond my body's limits. That is the power of a disciplined mind. The mind must serve you, not enslave you. But most people are prisoners of their thoughts. They react to everything, a word, a look, a comment. Someone criticizes them and they collapse. Someone praises them and they rise, like a puppet pulled by invisible strings. But the warrior cuts those strings. He learns to move according to his own rhythm, his own truth. You see, the mind is not your master, it is your tool. You must hold it firmly, shape it, direct it. When you meditate, you sharpen it. When you read, you feed it. When you act with intention, you strengthen it. Every day your thoughts either sharpen your blade or dull it. So choose wisely what you think, what you focus on, what you believe. Most people do not realize how much power they waste in mental chaos. They spend hours replaying the past or fearing the future. But life, my friend, happens only now. This moment is all you ever truly have. If you master this moment, you master your life. When you catch yourself drifting into fear, into comparison, into regret, breathe. Return to the present. Anchor yourself in your breath, in your senses, in your purpose. This is not philosophy. It is practice. It is the art of living awake. Remember, water does not resist the rock. It flows around it. It does not complain about the mountain in its path. It simply finds another way. You must do the same. When life blocks one route, flow into another. Do not waste time wishing things were different. Adapt, move, grow. The man who resists life drowns. The man who flows with it evolves. This is why solitude is essential. In silence, you can observe your mind clearly. You can see how it jumps, how it fears, how it dreams. You can see where you are trapped, and once you see the trap, you are free from it. That is awareness. In martial arts, I learned that awareness is everything. A single blink of inattention can end a fight. The same is true in life. The unaware man stumbles through his days, ruled by impulses, enslaved by emotion. The aware man sees his thoughts, understands them, and acts from choice, not compulsion. That is mastery. To master your mind, begin small. Sit each day in silence. Watch your breath, watch your thoughts. Don't fight them. Just observe. Soon you will see patterns. You will see how your mind reacts automatically, how it clings to comfort, how it resists change. That awareness alone begins to weaken those patterns. Then start directing your thoughts. When fear arises, replace it with gratitude. When doubt appears, replace it with action. When anger burns, turn it into focus. It is not about suppression, it is about transformation. You cannot kill emotion, but you can guide it. Just as the martial artist redirects force, you must redirect your inner energy toward growth. The calm mind is not emotionless, it is disciplined. It feels deeply, but it chooses response over reaction. It uses energy wisely. A calm mind is like a clear mirror. It reflects everything and distorts nothing. And when you can see clearly, you act precisely. This clarity is the true meaning of being like water, alive, fluid, and unstoppable. So, my friend, train your mind as you would train your body. Feed it truth, stretch it with learning, test it with discipline. When the world shouts, learn to hear the silence beneath the noise. When chaos strikes, remain still inside. That is not weakness. That is strength in its highest form. The man who can control his mind can control his destiny. The one who cannot becomes a slave to circumstance. When you master your mind, insults cannot touch you, failures cannot break you, and fear cannot hold you. You flow with life, and because of that, nothing can stop you. Remember always, your mind is your greatest weapon. Sharpen it, protect it, use it with precision. When you stop being ruled by emotion and begin to act with awareness, you become like water, calm, clear, powerful, and free. My friend, everything that you want to become already exists within you, but it cannot come forth while you hold on to the version of yourself that was built from fear, limitation, and comfort. To evolve, you must first destroy, not with anger, not with violence, but with truth. You must look at the man you have been and ask, does he still serve the person I am becoming? Too many people cling to their past as if it were their identity. They repeat the same habits, the same excuses, the same stories. This is just who I am. They say it with pride, as if permanence were strength. But I tell you, permanence is death. Life is movement. Life is transformation. The moment you stop growing, you begin to die. The tree that refuses to shed its old leaves cannot grow new ones. When I was younger, I saw many martial artists chained to tradition. They memorized forms, repeated techniques without understanding, and worshipped the past as if it were sacred law. But the truth, my friend, is that no tradition is above reality. No belief should survive if it no longer serves growth. When I created Jeet Kune Do, I did not want to add another style. I wanted to break the walls between them, to free the practitioner from the prison of fixed thinking, to allow him to express himself honestly, without rigidity, without imitation. This same principle applies to life. You must not be trapped by the way you were raised, by the mistakes you have made, or by the opinions others hold about you. You are not your past. You are not your failures. You are not your habits. You are potential, waiting to be shaped by discipline and will. But here is the truth most people avoid. Growth hurts. To destroy who you were is not comfortable. It is the hardest work you will ever do. It means leaving behind your excuses, your laziness, your pride. It means admitting that you were wrong. It means saying goodbye to your old self, the one that kept you safe, but also kept you small. When you begin this process, you will feel resistance. Your mind will tell you, why change? You are fine as you are. But remember, the mind loves comfort, even if comfort is killing you. You must not listen. You must break through that resistance. You must become your own sculptor, cutting away everything that weakens you until only strength remains. I remember when I first began to change my training philosophy, many criticized me. They said I was arrogant, that I was disrespecting tradition, that I was abandoning my roots. But I knew in my heart that truth is not owned by anyone. Truth belongs to the one who lives it. And so I kept moving forward. I broke the rules. I questioned everything. And in doing so, I discovered myself. In life, my friend, you must have the courage to let go of what no longer fits. Your fears, your failures, your beliefs, all of them must be examined. Some must be discarded, some must be refined, but none must be worshipped. You are the artist, and your life is the canvas. Paint boldly. If the stroke is wrong, paint again. The mistake is not in changing direction. The mistake is in refusing to move. Now, once you destroy the old self, you must build the new one, not through words, but through habits. Because habits, my friend, are the architecture of your destiny. Every thought you repeat, every action you take, is a brick in the temple of your becoming. If you build with weak materials, laziness, distraction, procrastination, your structure will crumble when life tests it. But if you build with discipline, focus, and integrity, nothing will shake you. Discipline is not a punishment. It is the highest form of self-respect. When you keep your word to yourself, you prove that you are reliable, trustworthy, strong. Each time you say, I will do this, and you do it, your spirit becomes unbreakable. But every time you make a promise and break it, you weaken your foundation. So, train yourself to act, not to talk. The world is full of people who speak of change but never move. They say they will start tomorrow. They say they are waiting for the right moment, but tomorrow does not exist, and the right moment will never come. The only moment you have is now. Take it, use it. Do not wait for permission. When I trained, I did not wait for motivation. Motivation is like a breeze. It comes and goes. Discipline is like breath. It stays as long as you live. You must breathe discipline into your life every day. Create structure. Set your times for training, for study, for rest. Make your habits your allies, so that even when your willpower fades, your structure carries you forward. Every morning, when you rise, you must decide who you are going to be today. Will you act from your old self, the one who makes excuses, who fears, who doubts? Or will you act from your new self, the one who moves, who learns, who grows? Each day you choose. Each day you vote for your future self through your actions. Your morning sets your direction. If you begin with laziness, your entire day follows that rhythm. But if you begin with movement, with purpose, with clarity, you set the tone for mastery. I always said, to hell with circumstances, I create opportunities. You see, discipline creates momentum, and momentum creates freedom. Freedom is not the absence of structure. It is the mastery of it. A river is free because it flows, but it needs the banks to give it direction. Without banks, it becomes a flood, chaotic, destructive. Discipline gives your energy direction. It turns your potential into power. My friend, do not underestimate the power of small actions. People think greatness comes from one grand act, one moment of glory, but that is not true. Greatness is built from consistency. The drop of water that falls on stone seems weak, but over time it carves the rock. Your habits are those drops. Every repetition, every decision, every act of discipline, they carve your character, your destiny, your strength. If you want to change your life, begin small. Wake up a little earlier. Move your body. Read a few pages. Reflect for a few minutes. Do it every day. It will seem insignificant at first, but over time, you will transform. The man who trains daily, even for a few minutes, will surpass the man who trains hard once in a while. Consistency is the true secret of mastery. And remember, my friend, discipline without awareness becomes mechanical. Do not act blindly. Always know why you move, why you train, why you grow. Purpose gives meaning to effort. Without it, you are just moving, but not advancing. So review your habits often. Ask yourself, does this strengthen me or weaken me? Does it bring me closer to who I wish to become or keep me trapped where I am? If it weakens you, remove it. If it strengthens you, double it. That is how a warrior lives, with awareness, with intention, with precision. When you build your life this way, something changes within you. You stop waiting for results. You begin to fall in love with the process. You find peace in the repetition, joy in the effort. You no longer train to impress. You train to express. You work not for the applause, but for the growth itself. This, my friend, is freedom. To do the right thing even when no one is watching. To grow in silence, to build in private, to strengthen yourself without needing recognition. That is where real power lives. Every morning, you are reborn. Every decision is a chance to sculpt yourself again. Do not waste it. Destroy weakness. Build discipline. Live with purpose. And remember, the man you are becoming is built from the small actions you take when no one is watching. When you understand this truth, you will never again depend on motivation or luck. You will realize that greatness is not something that happens to you. It is something you build, brick by brick, through the quiet power of disciplined living. And that, my friend, is how solitude becomes strength. It is where destruction becomes creation. It is where you stop being a victim of your habits and become their master. You are not fixed. You are fluid. You are a work in progress. Each day, destroy what weakens you. Each day, build what strengthens you. That is the way of the warrior.